Dr. Wily says we will not take over the world unless we are listening to Pixels in the animation.
Super fighting robot, Mega Man. 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 Fighting, save the world.
Hello and welcome to Pixels in the Animation. This is episode 52. I am your host, TFG and Mike. Joining me is TV's Mr. Neil.
Howdy do.
It is not howdy doody time.
Hey, I run out of funny sayings after a while. There's not many things to quote in Mega Man. Unless you want me to quote Mega Man 8. Which I've done thousands of times. Well, not really, but...
Oh, boy. I think I need to challenge you to find one of Mega Man's funniest lines out of each episode now at this point. And you can just say that line.
They're groaners.
Oh, come on. Some of them aren't that bad.
Well, that cheese
also,
is rotten, so nobody wants to hear that reel.
Oh, jeez.
It's a cheese
All right.
reel.
No cheese reel. Thank you very much. Also joining us is Steve Megatron. Hello.
Hello.
And in this episode of Pixels in the Animation, we have reached the halfway point between Mega Man Season 1 and Season 2. Normally people will know that I do recaps for certain things, certain seasons and other podcasts I've done. With Mega Man, since it's only 2 seasons, we're just going to do an overall recap. So first up today, we will be talking about The Strange Island of Dr. Moreau. I'm sorry, The Strange Island of Dr. Wily. And really, they don't... I know this is a cartoon show, folks. I know this came out in 1994. But I am so used to nowadays where cartoons leave us on a cliffhanger for a season. Like, nothing happens, nothing major happens between the final episode of Season 1 and the first episode of Season 2. I mean... And honestly, they could have just left. They could have just left Season 1 with Future Shock, or switch these two around. Switch Future Shock and Strange Island and Dr. Wily around, because Strange Island and Dr. Wily, let's face it, we'll get into this in a moment, but nothing fucking happens. So we'll be back after this.
Why you got here just in time? So long, brother. It's been tons of fun. Wily, you double-crossing snake!
Sticks and stones, Mega Man. Face it, you are history.
You mean you're gonna be history, Wily?
Couldn't stay away, huh? Now I can get rid of all of you at the same time. Proto-Man, Gutsman, Catman, Woodman. Destroy them.
With pleasure.
Alright, folks, the final episode of Season 1, The Strange Island of Dr. Wily, written by Richard Merwin. Air date was December 4th, 1994. Due to a malfunction in Dr. Wily's newest invention, the scientist and his bots get stranded on an island with none other than Dr. Light, Mega Man, and Roll. With no other alternative, the good guys and the bad guys team up in an attempt to get off the island alive. Of course, Dr. Wily is using the truce as a way to get his invention back. Like I said, nothing fucking happens.
It's Mega Man and Battle of the Rock Lords.
It's not even... Battle of the Rock Lords was better, and I hate to say that because people know I am not a fan of the GoBots at all. But it just... Oh my god. This episode was so boring. And at first, I actually had to go back and listen to what Dr. Wily said 3 times, because at first, I didn't even know who the fucking brown and green guy was. I cannot believe I didn't recognize Woodman at all the first time I saw him in this episode. I completely blanked when I was watching the episode, folks. I'm like, who the fuck is the brown and green guy? What the hell is going on here? And of course, Dr. Wily talking in his accent, I had to listen to it like 4 times to hear and understand what the hell he was saying. I do love the action in this episode. And seeing Mega Man and Proto Man actually work together was interesting, but other than being stranded on the island, I still don't get what Wily's entire plan was. He was going to use radiation to rule the world? Seriously, that would destroy the world.
Yeah, but we've already discovered that he's insane because he's already tried to destroy the world once before.
Yeah, that's very true. Steve, thoughts?
Why?
Why not?
This reminds me of almost like that bad Power Rangers Turbo movie with like the rocks.
yeah, Turbo Power. It is exactly that. Oh my god! And that movie doesn't come out for another 3 years at this point.
Yeah, they called from bad source material. Wannabe Power Rangers and Mega Man and Proto Man and Dr. Wily setting the chain of events off like the villain in Power Rangers. And
yeah,
it's terrible. I don't know why. Like,
and Woodman didn't even do anything throughout the entire episode. All as he had was his leaf shield. Doesn't he have a secondary weapon? Like, he can use the leaf shield as like a firing mechanism or something?
Kind of.
Doesn't he have 2... Didn't those Mega Man 2 villains have 2 different weapons? One that Mega Man could take and one that they just used?
Not necessarily. I mean, he had the leaf shield, but it didn't function the way it does in the episode. It was more like a series of leaves that just kind of like orbited around him, and then he could throw them at Mega Man.
Right,
and I think Mega Man can also do that once he takes the power.
Right, yeah, he can. Yeah, that's one thing I kind of wish would have happened here. I wish it would have actually been game accurate as far as the leaf shield power.
Whereas in this episode, he just grew a big metal leaf out of his arm, and what he did was he fanned people with it.
What a waste.
Yeah, pretty much.
And they didn't even make toys of these damn things.
Nope. Oh, man. Any other thoughts, Neil?
Well, just to bring home how offensive this episode is, it's probably the best animated episode of the season, and they wasted it on this plot. And I swear I've seen this episode in so many cartoons, the good guys and bad guys team up together episode, and the bad guys always like conniving behind their backs and planning to double cross them, like we didn't see that coming in the first place. Mm-hmm. And I swear there's almost always a mountain involved somehow. And it's just a whole lot of people walking. It's just the most boring episode. It's like we have to climb this mountain. God.
It's too bad Rush can't transform into like a 747 or something.
Why didn't they use Rush? Wait a minute.
Well, because it was Mega Man Roll, and Dr. Light. It was all 3 of them. So, yeah, sure, Mega Man could have used Rush, but then he'd leave the two of them behind. But where was Roll's little jet, whatever the hell she flies around in? You know, she could have used that. I don't know. This one was just, as a season finale, it sucks. As a regular episode, the plot sucks, but like Neil said, the animation is damn good. Any other final thoughts, Steve, for this one?
And which one?
Strange Island of Dr. Wily.
You act like it's an important episode to remember.
I know.
I mean, I do agree that the animation is good, but like the story just blows. No, that's probably about it. I mean, you guys pretty much summed it up with the what you guys have said. So,
all right, we're gonna move on to the next one.
Meteor has entered Earth's gravitational field. Meteor entering Earth's outer atmosphere. Calculating meteor trajectory. Meteor point of impact identified.
Are you tracking this, Dr. Light?
Yes, indeed. I've never seen such radiation readings. There is no material on Earth like it.
Impact will be in the American desert. No population centers are in danger.
Thank heavens for that. I'll meet you and your team there. My new long-range spectral analyzer tells something about the meteor no one else on Earth knows. Where it is going to land.
We've checked ground zero, Doc. Hey, check this out. You know the train carrying that big gold shipment you've been drooling about?
Of course. If I can get my hands on that much gold, I'll be able to build my own army, my own city, my own country.
The meteor's coming down within easy striking distance of where that train is gonna be.
Two for the price of one. A train loaded with gold will make me rich. And the extraordinary energy in this meteor will make my robots invincible. Nothing can stop me.
Up next, folks, is the beginning of Season 2 with Episode 1 from Season 2, overall Episode 14 of the series, Showdown at Red Gulch. Written by Michael O'Mahony. Air date was September 10th, 1995. Dr. Wily finds a meteor with crystals that can superpower robots. However, the crystals also have a nasty side effect of overloading the circuits of the robots using them. After a random period of time. Notice that word there, folks. Random period of time. So, you never know when it's going to blow.
They're plot crystals.
Yeah, they're not only... Oh, this whole meteor is a plot. And... I forget which one it is, but there was an episode of Transformers Generation 1 where the Autobots and the Decepticons were trying to get to a crashed meteor and control it. That's exactly what this feels like.
There was. Oh my God. And there was also an episode with the Insecticons where they had digested some sort of
meteor.
Not a meteor, but like an isotope or something, and it was causing them indigestion, and one of them actually blew up.
Yep. A real cut, man. Yeah, Mega Man's lines are kind of cheesy sometimes, but still like them. When Wily tells them to tie Mega Man to the horse, the color... Oh, it's an animation error. The color on Mega Man's hand is off. On his right hand, it's a flesh tone color instead of being blue, and then 2 seconds later, it's blue. Why does Roll always have to tag along? She's worse than those Girl Scout cookies. Like...
So you're saying she has a bad aftertaste?
No, she's kind of like Sour Bill from Wreck-It Ralph.
Blah.
Like, that's one thing that bugs me about some of these side characters in any cartoons. It's like, build their character. allow them to learn to listen and, not just ignore what you're saying. But that'll never happen. At this point, I don't know what's worse, folks. Roll or Orko?
Oh my god.
No. Hear me out here. There is an episode of He-Man, Filmation He-Man, that Optimus Soul and I just reviewed in episode 4. We reviewed it a couple weeks ago in episode 42 of the podcast. It is called The Toy Maker, I believe. No, it's called The Bargain with Evil. In The Bargain with Evil, the Star Child returns. And Adam sits there and tells Orko, go tell the king and queen where we've gone so they know where we are. Instead, Orko says, oh, nuts to that, I'm going to disguise myself as an arrow and fit into this lady named Bowena's quiver and whatever else. And it's like, why can't these side characters just listen to the instructions? Come on now.
Because they're not written with instructions, the characters.
Yeah, true. Steve, thoughts on Showdown at Red Gulch?
I do like the fact that we finally get to see more of the Baton Tons.
Yep.
I just think that they're cool actually showing up. Plus, they show up in Mega Man X, so I kind of like them too. But, yes, I'm biased. This, I mean, granted, this is the typical, Polo Western episode. Out of, I mean, just about every series does all of these themes, whether we're complaining or enjoying them, they all do this. Yeah, almost all of them. I don't have a problem when they do a Western. Beast Wars did one, this did one. I mean, granted, Beast Wars did it better, but still.
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean, I think this one's overall a lot more enjoyable than last week's episode and the previous one.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Neil?
I don't know. This is another one of those middle-of-the-road episodes where it's not really terrible, yet not really something I would recommend. So, I don't know. There are so many, common tropes I noticed in this episode that I'm just like, I feel like I've seen this episode so many times before in different cartoons.
Right.
The power crystals and...
Well, it's almost like the Golden Lagoon in Transformers.
God damn it. It's like about 5 different Transformers episodes in one episode of Mega Man.
Yep. Golden Lagoon or the Ultimate Weapon or the Heavy Metal War.
Oh my god, yeah.
No.
It's like... So, alright, we're going to get to the last episode after this.
We're closing in on her proto, my boy. Increase speed to 15 knots. Now hear this! All robots, man your battle stations! Go! Step to it! Get the light out of your circuit!
We've been tracking the ship all day, and still no sign of the ship hijackers. Zippo, nada.
Keep watching, Roll. I know Wily will strike again soon, and when he does, we'll nab him.
Cool, a whale. A really big one.
Strange. That whale's sound pattern doesn't match any I've ever heard.
I better check it out, Doc.
Could be dangerous, Mega. Perhaps this is the time to test my new super turbine-powered underwater defense apparatus.
Alright, folks, finally up today, we have episode 2/episode 15 overall in the series, Terror of the Seven Seas, written by Matt Yultz. September 17th, 1995 was the air date. Dr. Wily labors to create a sea fort, stealing Navy battleships for parts. His plan works for a while, but when Mega Man comes to investigate, he soon learns of Dr. Wily's plot and puts a stop to it. Wow. Whoever wrote that really needs to put a little bit more thought into these plot synopses on Wikipedia. Wow, that's almost as bad as the Super Mario World plots on Wikipedia. Yeah, so Terror at the Seven Seas. I really thought this was going to be a pirate episode. This episode really needed like 100% more pirates. That's what this episode needed.
I think there actually is a pirate man. In a later game, though.
Not surprise me. Mega Man's sea armor looks like Mega Man and Merman had a baby.
Oh, God.
And
well, technically...
oh, man. And
when they took them apart, this is what happened.
Good Lord. And Dr. Wily stole Hannibal Smith's line, damn it. I just love it when a plan comes together. Oh, God. No villain should ever say that. Unless you're Steve Bloom Starscream. So it's been a while since we've seen Bomb Man, so apparently they put him back together again. Not for long, though. How does, these quote-unquote survivors, how does Mega Man not know that that's Gutsman's voice? How does he...
Because he's dumb.
You would think he would know, being that he's a robot with a photographic memory.
Mm-hmm.
You know, being a computer.
Mm-hmm. And at the end of the episode, Rush ends up in the blowhole.
That's what she said.
It's like, oh, God. Like, don't get me wrong, folks. I know Rush does some stupid crap, but I mean, I still have a soft spot in my heart for that Robo Dog because he always gets the short end of the stick. Steve, thoughts on Terror at the Seven Seas?
I didn't mind it. That's actually one of the ones I remember a little bit better, just because I'd seen it a couple times in reruns when I was a kid. One, I like the selection of robots despite their crappy puns.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Electric Man, and I like Bomb Man, except for the fact... I mean, I like him for the fact that he's got bombs, but I think he looks like a fucking doofus. You know, Mohawk, you know... Gutsman with a mohawk, I mean, basically.
Yeah.
And his puns are terrible. Hey, Mega, remember me? A blast from the past. It's like, yeah, you're just as dumb as last time. I did like Wily's floating fortress, though.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I can't remember. I don't know why it bothers me so much, but it reminds me of something else from some other cartoon around that era. Like it almost is like a G.I. Joe type thing, but it's almost not. It's almost like something you'd see on God, I can't remember. Like, there's just so many other animation styles that are similar to that particular design that I just can't picture it at the moment, but it bothers me when I see that. But Mega Man's armored or marine suit I thought was kind of neat. To help him get over there, you know, since he can't take his dog and...
Yeah, why couldn't he have taken Rush? Anyway.
Go, Gadget Dog. Turn into a boat. But yeah, so I mean, it's kind of neat. I think it's funny that Mega Man actually gets... and defeats the way he defeats Cutman and the fact that he can copy Proto Man's weapon, even though they're basically similar.
But Proto Man had more power than he did at the time,
True.
though, in the episode. So
I steal his juice.
Well, and Dr. Wily even says that, don't let him copy your weapon. I know, I just can't do Germans, folks. Neil, what did you think of the episode here?
I don't know. I feel like because we've already done like a water episode. I was just kind of like my eyes were kind of glazing over. I'm like, I mean, first of all, the swimming suit. I thought it looked kind of silly. Plus, Rush does have a submarine mode in one of the games, so I'm like, why didn't he use that? And has it been like at the end of every episode there has to be something funny with Rush? Like he always has to, fall into a snowbank or something like that.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause that seems to be a running gag. It's like, oh, that wacky Rush, he got into trouble again. I don't know. It was an okay episode, but I don't know. I guess I was just kind of like losing patience with it. So yeah, that's about all I have to say.
All right, we are going to take a quick break, come back with final thoughts, ratings, and all that good stuff after this.
Mega, right back. Messages.
By the power of Grayskull, I command the jaw bridge. Open!
The Powers of Grayskull series will cover every episode of all 4 Masters of the Universe cartoons. Join Optimus Solo and myself, TF2 and Mike, as we tell tales of Eternia, discover the myths of Etheria, become masters in space, and finally Masters of Grayskull. We'll have a commentary on the Secret of the Sword film, and a few other special episodes. You can find this 125 episode long podcast in iTunes and on the web at geekcastradio.com. By the power and honor of Grayskull, we all have the power.
Yeah, I hope I didn't miss anything exciting.
It's action. It's drama. It's comedy. It's Decian, the superhero webcomic. Decian's got superhero antics and sexy girls. Read it now at Decian.com. DASIEN.com.
Alright folks, we are back and it is time to rate these 3 episodes today for Mega Man Steve, what are you going to give The Strange Island of Dr. Wily?
I'll give it a 2 for animation. Actually, I'll give it a 3 for just because of the animation.
Okay. Neil?
I'll give it a 1 because it had good animation, but it offended me that they put it on the wrong episode. There's so many other episodes that they could have put that animation budget on, and they chose this one.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 1. I'll only give it a 1 for the animation, like Neil said, but Dr. Wily had no plot. It just...
I'm going to backpedal and give it a 1.5.
Wow. That's nuts, dude. That's all right, but that's nuts. I'll say this, and I know it's 2 different decades, but there was an episode of Jem and the Holograms that Jem and the Holograms and the Misfits actually had to work together to get... It was the exact same type of situation as, Neil, you had mentioned earlier. They've done this situation millions of times before throughout Hollywood, where the good guys and the bad guys have to work together. Jem and the Holograms and the Misfits did this better than Mega Man did it here. It's like, oh my god. Just, All right. What about Showdown at Red Gulch, Steve?
I'll give that one a 3.
Okay. Neil?
I'll give it a 3 as well. It was a very run-of-the-mill episode, so put the rating right in the middle seems appropriate.
I only took a point off because of Roll and her non-listening. I'm actually going to give it a 4. I really enjoyed it. It's probably one of the more enjoyable ones for me so far. Terror at the Seven Seas, Steve?
That one I'll probably give I'll give it a 3. It was stronger than the other 2, I think, but I think that it could have had the animation from the first one and been that much better.
Yeah. What about you, Neil?
I'll give it a 2. You could probably hear from what I had to say about it is that I didn't really know what to say. I was kind of losing my interest in it and was kind of antsy to get on to do something else. So obviously it wasn't entertaining me. So yeah.
I barely wrote any notes down for this one. I'm going to give it a 2 as well. It's not as bad as Strange Island Dr. Wily, but at the same time, like Neil said, we just had a water episode not too long ago. It's like, we don't need another water episode already. And again, like I said, if pirates had been in this, it would have been a hell of a lot more entertaining. Thank you for joining us here on Pixels in the Animation. There are several ways to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com. Email us feedback at geekcastradio.com. Leave the show's feedback in iTunes. Please do this. Follow us on Twitter at geekcastradio is the network Twitter. Mine is TF2 and Mike. Neil, what is your Twitter?
Neil Sama.
And Steve?
SCP-21.
Become a fan on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/geekcastradio network. You can also search out their Decian Comic, Animation Aficionados, and Neil's Classic Gaming. Call the voicemail line. Tell us the show you're leaving the message for and your name. 502-526-5821. We hope you enjoyed the latest episode of Pixels in the Animation and wish you'll join us next time. We'll be reviewing 3 more episodes from Mega Man, those being Mega Dreams, Robo Spider, and Master of Disaster. For now, I am TFG and Mike with
TV's Mr. Neil.
Steve Megatron Phillips.
Tune in next time and help us find the pixels in the animation.